Our story begins here, with the loot box. But this isn't any old loot box, it's the idea behind it itself. It's not the loot box's fault, however. It did what it set out to do, and that's make money. And boy, did it make a lot of it. Now, I hate to be the one to break this to you, but Anthem won't save us. Despite all the issues that EA has had with Star Wars Battlefront 2, loot boxes are guaranteed for Anthem. And the question is, will they do them the right way? Or is there even a right way for them to begin with? Microtransactions, whether you love them or hate them, are a staple in gaming, and right now, they're pretty much a 4-letter word. But as more and more gamers grow ever frustrated with this practice and feel taken advantage of, players start to whisper and hope that things will change. Battlefront 2's loot box progression system brought a lot of issues to the forefront, causing even some states and even countries to label them rightfully as gambling. And they have called for a ban on this practice in games. But legislation is slow and we shouldn't really rely on it. Development is also slow. So as we begin, let's take a brief look at history to catch everyone up to speed. So how did it even come to this? Well, a company called Flurry, who specializes in mobile web analytics, reported on July 7th, 2011 that the revenue from free-to-play games had overtaken revenue from premium games. They also reported that the number of people who spend money on in-game purchases on these free-to-play games ranges from 0.5% to 6% depending on the game's quality and mechanics. Even though this means that a large number of players will never spend a dime on any of these games, it also means that the people who do spend money could amount to a sizable number because the game was given away for free. A later study showed that over 92% of revenue generated on Android and iOS in 2013 came from free-to-play games such as Candy Crush. Now here's where this all ties in with Electronic Arts and Anthem. Back then, corporate vice president Peter Moore speculated in June 2012 that within 5 to 10 years, that puts us right in this range we're in right now, that all games will have transitioned to the microtransaction model. Tommy Palm of Candy Crush Saga expressed in 2014 that his beliefs that all games will eventually be free to play, and according to ex-BioWare developer Manveer Here in a 2017 interview, he said that microtransactions become a factor in what type of games are planned for production. Now, consumer organizations have criticized that some video games do not describe adequately what the purchases are made with real money, rather with this virtual currency. Also, some platforms do not require passwords to use a credit card to complete microtransactions. This has resulted in consumers getting unexpectedly high bills. So Here continues in that same interview saying that it's definitely a thing inside EA, that they are generally pushing for more open world games. The reason is you can monopolize them better. It's the same reason we added car packs to Mass Effect 3. How do you keep people coming back to a thing instead of just playing it for 60 to 100 hours? So he continues and says the problem is that they've scaled up their budgets to 100 million plus, and they actually haven't made room for any good linear single player games. So why can't we have both? Why does one have to be over the other? The reason is that EA and these big publishers in general only care about the highest return on investment. They don't actually care what the players want. They care about what the players will pay for. And you need to understand the amount of money that is in these microtransactions. Going on to say that he's seen one player literally spend $15,000 on Mass Effect's multiplayer cards. This is big money. This is big business. And at the end of the day, this is a business. Now at this point, I do want to clarify, I am not against companies making money. These companies have employees, these employees have families, they have healthcare, needs, housing, food, you name it. It is a good thing for a business to make money. Where this all comes to a head is in the manner of which they're making their money. At this point, it feels honestly deceptive. And the problem is, especially as it relates to Anthem, is that development is still ongoing. What's happening right now inside of EA and their boardrooms is they're trying to decide if Star Wars Battlefront 2 is an outlier, some random point of data that doesn't reflect the whole. So how do I know this? Let's take a look at EA's stock. It took a hit with Star Wars Battlefront 2, but it has since rebounded. In fact, it's on its way up, trending once more again. Year over year, and even over the last 5 years, EA stock has continued to grow and continued to make money. This is largely driven by the fact that the EA franchise FIFA Ultimate Team is now reported at $800 million in revenue. This is huge, and this is how we got here. So right now it looks like with EA and even with Bungie and Activision that these are just small data points in a larger set of data, and that players and gamers are okay with these type of practices. And this is highlighted by Destin Legary's points on IGN's podcast Unlocked.
But I feel like Anthem...
Visceral closing.
Yeah, I feel like Anthem is just clearly a high point for them in the year because
Mm-hmm.
everyone left E3 talking like, oh, well, that's the game I want to see more of in 2018.
And all the comments I see on the Star Wars stuff is like, good thing this happened before Anthem because they can learn how to like do their loot box strategy if they're going to make it be an Anthem in a better way that's better for the consumer.
That's 100%. Like if this is targeting Destiny as the competition to it, it is totally a games as a service now moving forward, and that is so much more vital. I'm sorry, when I say that, I mean like loot boxes and stuff to keep you constantly going the way the Destiny's tapped into
Consistent world.
Yeah, that's so much more of a vital component to a games as a service game versus something like Star Wars, which, you know, was just a progression system.
It's so weird. It's just like cosmetic items only. Like, it's not hard. Don't put any game-breaking stuff in your loot boxes.
Like the way Halo does it.
Yeah.
It's Halo 5.
Yeah, the rec packs.
Yeah, it's been doing it.
People are fine with that. And they often do charity drives where, like, if you buy rec packs, it goes to charity. So, like, good comes out of it.
I think from this, it's plain and clear to see that the majority of gamers are probably okay with loot boxes and this type of system. After all, really only 0.5 to 6% of gamers spend money on these type of microtransactions. But the hope that EA has learned some kind of lesson, I'm not going to bank on that. I'm concerned about that. I think the only way they're really going to learn some kind of lesson if this message is repeated loudly, continuously, and they're told only cosmetic. Now, I'm very curious in your opinion. Is cosmetic even okay? Should that even be allowed as a part of loot boxes? Now, personally, I don't have any problem with the loot box as a concept in and of itself. I find opening them to be rather quite fun. But when you tie in progression to that, that's where things get tricky. That's where the game incentivizes you to try to open your wallet. That's when the game becomes less of a game and more of a lottery system, a slot machine. These play to our base instincts as human beings. There's a reason why casinos are as tall as they are in Vegas. There's a reason why there's a town called Las Vegas in the first place. Gambling and these type of addictions are real. They play on our excitement and our joy and our frustration and our hope that just the next one will get me the right piece of equipment, the right numbers, the right jackpot, and I will be happy. The psychology behind this is mind-blowing. I remember reading an article back in Destiny 1 how they utilize this model to keep people playing and engaged in the games. And done for the right reasons and right purposes, it can be engaging and fun. But I keep hearing talk that loot boxes and these type of things are going away. And I just don't see that happening with companies making so much money and not having to spend as much money on these developments to return profits at a ridiculous pace. So what can we do about it? Well, the first thing you should know is that they are listening and they are watching what we do. Best thing you can do is don't pre-order. Stop pre-ordering games. We have to stop giving money for something we have not played yet and experienced firsthand. Second, find reviewers and people that you can trust. Gaming should be about playing with your friends and having a good time, not who has the most money and can buy the most things the quickest. This is obviously always going to be a gray line, because that kind of money can fund games and game development, and that's why I think Anthem is actually in trouble out of all of this. If EA is listening and they have learned a lesson, this could easily impact game development for the entire year up to release. It could even push release out further. It can affect gameplay systems, features, content. All of these things could be in jeopardy. Because if it looks like they're going to make less money, they're going to be less likely to put that investment in. That's why these loot boxes and these type of gambling systems are such a lucrative model right now. You can also write your congressman and your senator, letting them know that you don't stand for these type of practices and these type of systems. If they don't hear from us, they're not going to be less likely to stick their neck out and try to go toe-to-toe with the business. Because guess what? Any business can hire lobbyists, and so can we, that are going to go represent them and obviously spend money to make things happen that are beneficial to them. That's the system we live in and the world we live in. But on one final note, I want you to take away the message that there is hope. There is hope in gaming. There's hope in the gaming industry. We always vote with our dollars. And if you don't support these type of practices, make sure not only are you not spending the money for companies that do these type of things, but you also voice your concerns publicly and privately. Let your friends know, let your family know. Don't support these type of systems. This is how we can all affect change together. Is it too late for Anthem? No, I'm really hoping that later this year or next year or whenever this game is released, that I can make a video that says I was wrong about Anthem. I was wrong and they delivered a great game. I was wrong and they learned their lessons. That's the video that I want to make for everybody. That's the game that I want to play. I really want Anthem to live up to the expectations of the Mass Effect team that's behind this game. I'm not going to pre-order by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm going to follow this game intently. It looks gorgeous. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I love RPGs and I love games that I can play with my friends. So no, I don't think Anthem is going to save us. I don't think it's going to save the industry. I don't think it's going to help Bungie become better. I don't think it's going to solve all the world's problems. I think it's just going to be a game. And the question is it going to be a game that tries to take advantage of us, or is it going to be the game that delivers the right experiences for the right investment? Anyway guys, this has been Brian for Work to Game. I'd love to know your thoughts on this or any of the points that were made in this video. There's a lot of things going on in the industry right now, and I'd love to know what you think, whether you're pro loot boxes or against them outright. Should it be only cosmetic, or should we ban all microtransactions from games? Should the price of games go up, or should we all just collectively say, you know what, it's just not worth it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button and share this video with your friends. It's another way of getting the word out, and that is always going to be a good thing. Anyway, until next time, I hope you have a fantastic week. Take care.